Good morning, everyone. It is indeed a tremendous joy and happiness to see everybody here. And anybody who celebrate any kind of holidays now, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah. And as we begin today, I would like also to do the same thing I did in the first part of the seminar, and to express our gratitude and appreciations to everyone who were part of this incredible event that I believe will be very beneficial to all of you and to me too, in many different ways, and to express our appreciation to Mr. Benny Alajem, the owner of the Beverly Hilton, for making this seminar possible. To you, Eli and Ayala, for the incredible work you put together. And thank you all, as I said in the first time, for coming here. I do not take anything for granted, and I truly appreciate the fact that you got up this morning and came here to discuss an extremely important matters in our lives. As Ayala mentioned a second ago, we divided the seminar to two parts. The first part was more on a theory level. We spoke a little bit about the importance of connection and to understand why people are putting their life together with someone, why people want to share life, why people are pursuing marriage, especially when it doesn't work. And we spoke a lot about the theory part of what marriage is all about, what building a family is all about. Today, as a matter of fact, what I would like to do is to really discuss practical issues that are going on in our lives, and how we can, practically speaking, create a beautiful life we are all pursuing. We are all trying to have such a happy and healthy and a normal family life. How in the world we practically do it? So this is going to be the directions of today. So as we did last time, we are going to divide today's seminar, today's lecture, also to two separate parts. The first part we're going to talk about, I call it the 10 commandments of building a healthy family structure. 10 commandments, obviously, I do not mean 10 commandments in a way that this is a commandment. It's not something that you order to have. It's not something that you are committing yourself to have, and if not, you're going to have a miserable life. Yes, you will, but that's not what it means. Commandments, I just borrowed from the 10 commandments, as you understand, which are basically the foundation of building a healthy and happy family. And the second part will be, after the break, we're going to be speaking about something which is a very, very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable, because we are going to touch the topic of intimacy and relationship. And I'm sure when you hear intimacy, you do not expect to hear a lot of details on intimacy from a rabbi. I mean, if there is anything that you ever wish to know about this topic, you will not come to me for. But we're going to talk about the real deal of intimacy and how important role it plays in our marriage and in our relationships, in our family life. So let's begin with what I said, the 10 commandments of building a family structure. Now, as an introduction, a small introduction, and a very, very important concept that we all have to keep in our mind, I believe, throughout the entire lecture today, and not the entire lecture, throughout the entire life, is to keep the following concept in mind. And by the way, if you would like to take notes, I highly recommend you to do it. I will try to mention some important points and remind you to take notes because they are very, very important to our lives. So the first thing that I would like to use as an introduction is that we always in life have to make a clear distinction between goal and means. And I will explain that. Goal and means are two concepts that when they are not clear in our minds, we are setting up our life to incredible confusion. And in Hebrew, I like this Hebrew, we are setting up our life to a huge balagan. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by a goal and means. If you take as example of someone who will, if I would like to hire somebody for customer service representative in my store. So I'm going to go to the person and say, hey, if you want to work on the floor in my store as a customer service representative, this is what I want you to do. The first rule is I want you to come on time, always on time. If you can, a few minutes prior to time. The second thing is I'm going to ask you to always dress up nicely. And I'm going to ask you to always keep the smile on your face, even if you're married. You always have to keep a beautiful smile on your face. You always have to treat people with patience. You always have to initiate support and help to anybody in the store. And I will give you rules on and on and on how to treat customers in a very nice way. So you sit in this class of listening to the whole customer service orders, and you ask yourself or you ask the boss, he said, listen, I understand what you want from me. I know what the rules are. I know what you want me to do to follow A, B, C, D. But let me ask you, come on, why in the world do I need to do it? Why in the world do I need to do this? Do you know what it means, an annoying customer? Do you know what it means to, I love the Hebrew word too. Have you heard the word nudnik? I think it's the second word that English should adopt from Hebrew. After chutzpah, that becomes an English word, I think a nudnik should be the second word. It's a good word in Hebrew. What if I have a nudnik customer who I know doesn't come to buy? I know just like to annoy me. What do I do? Why do I need to smile to a terrible person? So we take this guy and we tell him, listen, there is something that you're missing in your mind. What you're missing in your mind is that you wear the wrong glasses. Wrong glasses. When someone a customer walk through the door, what do you see? What do you see? You see a human being walking through the door of the store, right? Let me tell you something. You're wrong. You wear the wrong glasses. When you see a customer, a human being, walking through the door to the store, do you know what I see as the owner of the store? Do you know what I see? I see something very small made out of plastic called a credit card, walking on two legs. That's what I see. I see a credit card. You know, in the airport, when you go and you do this, they see your inside. You know, in the x-ray, they see the inside part of you. I see a credit card walking in on two legs. And we have a goal, and the goal is to legally take and transfer money from this walking credit card to our account. This is the goal. Do you understand the goal? If the goal is clear to you, now you will understand why I ask you all to follow all those rules. The journey of following the rules becomes so makes sense when you understand that there is a goal to all of that. When you understand that this is the goal, there is absolutely no doubt that the journey will be much easier. If I ask you today, if anybody will ask us, can you crawl on 4 legs from here to the beach in Santa Monica, would you do it? How many excuses you going to give me for not doing that? It's very difficult. I have bad knees. Very difficult. I can't do it. It's a long term. It's a long trip. It's embarrassing. It's this, it's that. All beautiful, make sense excuses. But what if you know that in the end of the journey, there is in cash $100 million waiting for you? Would you do it? I would bark all the way there. I would bark. I would do it backwards. Does that make sense? What happened to the knees? Come on, with $100 million, I'll hire the best surgeon in town. I mean, come on. There is no... Embarrassing? What are you talking about? Embarrassing? Talk to me 6 hours later with $100 million in my account. We'll talk embarrassing later. Every excuse along the way becomes much easier when the goal is clear. Does that make sense? Anybody disagree with that? Okay. Having that in mind, this is the first foundation I want to set up today.